Hey guys, here again with another slow yoga flow. Starting out sitting in Thunderbolt, and then we're just gonna lift up, bring the arms overhead, stretch, 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 and then we're just gonna lean back as far as we can just until we feel that shake. Reach the arms forward. Now, arms back up. And stretch that left arm forward, right arm back. Follow our thumb. Bring it right back up. And repeat that on the other side. Okay, arms up. And we're coming into our tabletop. I'm just going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. Pushing into the palms of the hands to round the back. And then lifting the head, dropping the belly. And we're going to come to a neutral spine. And extend that right leg out behind you, pushing through the heel. Really stretching that leg out. We're going to drop the toes and push our weight back into the heel to stretch the calf. And then flex forward onto the wrists and shift our weight back and forth a few times. Now we're going to take that right leg, swing it to the left side of the mat, and look over our left shoulder for a nice side stretch. Now we're going to come into sunbird, extending that right leg back, left arm forward, reaching out through the heels and through the fingers, and then bringing yourself into a little ball, bringing your knees to your elbow. I'm just going to do a little swish. Swish, swish. We're going to turn the palms. Turn your fingers towards each other and rock side to side just to flex the wrists a little bit. We're going to bring our hands back to the front and now stretch out that left leg, push through the heel. And now I'm going to tap those toes down, push through the heel to stretch the calf, and then lean forward to stretch out those wrists. And then we're going to swing that left leg over to the right corner of the mat, look over our right shoulder. Nice side body stretch. You're going to come right back into your tabletop. Now sunbird. So left leg stretches out, powering through that heel. Stretch those right arms forward. And bring your knee to your elbow. Nice little crunch. Okay. Turn your fingers towards your body. And shift your weight forward just a little bit to flex the wrists and then back. If that's too intense, you can just turn your fingers towards each other again or out to the sides. Now we're going to pop up into a down dog. Really push into the thumb and pointer finger of each hand. You can bend your knees here if that makes it easier. And we're going to ripple forward into a plank and then cobra. And then back into your downward facing dog. Again, slowly ripple yourself forward into your cobra or your up dog if you feel like you need it. And then right back again into down dog. Okay, and you're just gonna look forward, walk very slowly, one foot heel to toe, until you bring your feet to the front of the mat. Once you get there, go ahead and forward fold. And we're gonna halfway lift, stretch out that spine, back into a forward fold, and then rise up, halfway lift, forward fold again. One more for good luck. And this time we're gonna come all the way up, arms out overhead, bring them together, bring your hands to your heart, and then release into mountain pose. And we're gonna shift our weight into our left foot, setting ourselves up for a tree pose. You can rest your foot against your ankle or your lower leg. That's easier. Keep your hands at your heart, or you can lift your arms overhead and grow your tree a little bit. Okay, we're gonna bring our hand to our hip and bring the knee straight out 90-degree angle to the side, and then behind you, grab that foot, keep your arm up overhead for a nice flamingo. My favorite pose. And when you're ready and you found your balance, go ahead and tip forward. Slowly kick that foot into the hand, power through those fingertips into dancer. Slowly, carefully make your way back up to flamingo. And then back into tree. And we're going to slowly make our way into a half split. Half moon, half split. If you lose your balance, no need to worry. You can always find it again. This looks like my signature move, the struggle bug. Very good at it. I'm like a pro. We're back up. Okay, we did it. We're gonna go into a nice little chair. Point your tailbone down, shoulders back, arms up. And from this chair, we're going to go into a nice, cute little forward fold. Halfway lift, stretch out that spine. And then down into a plank. And then a low plank. Push-up position. Elbows by the ribs. A little cobra action. And right back into our fan favorite, down dog. And now we're going to walk ourselves up forward, heel to toe, very carefully, and meet at the top of the mat for a lovely little forward fold. And then stretch out that spine, half lift, back into a forward fold, and rise on up, arms overhead, hands to heart, and then to mountain pose. Now we're going to find our tree on the other side. I'm stealing myself because my right leg is not as strong for balancing as my left, but I try anyway. I'm going to find my focus point. I am using the ceiling to balance myself. If you have a wall, that works really well. The ceiling's right there. Might as well use it. I'm talented in some ways, clearly. I just turn myself, arms up, nice and tall. Now we're going to transition to the knee out to the side there. And into our flamingo. Once we find our balance, we are going to slowly tip forward into dancer. Kick the foot into the hand. I'm doing my best. Like I said, the right side is a work in progress. If that's what your dancer looks like today, that's what the dancer looks like today, right? Now we're going to shift back to flamingo and into tree. We're going straight into our half split. Or is this half moon first? Half moon. I think I need better yoga blocks. These ones are not as supportive as I would like, especially in pose like this, where I'm really relying heavily on the block to keep me stable, and it's just not doing the job, but we persist. And now we're going to attempt a half split. If you fall out of it, get right back in. This is a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. Oh my god. Alright. I'm still trying double blocks. We're gonna get it. You're seeing it here first. This is my before. Oh god. I was really trying. It's so cute. Okay. Are we going into chair at last? Out of the struggle bug and into the strongest chair you've ever seen. Tailbone down, shoulders back, away from the ears. And a forward fold. Oh no, we're doing a revolved. So that's left arm forward, right arm back. Follow that right thumb. Arms back up. Right arm forward, left arm back. Follow the left thumb, arms up. And now we forward fold. Neat little half lift, stretch out that back. And we're going right back down into the forward fold. And then we are going to find our way to a tabletop. Tabletop, girl, tabletop. Okay, now we're in tabletop. I'm gonna go ahead and lift that right leg up, 90-degree angle, bend that knee. We're gonna make little circles. They can be little circles or they can be big circles if you want to try to get your knee as close to your armpit and shoulder area. Really stretch it out. It doesn't have to be that big though. You can do small circles. Then you're gonna reverse, opposite direction. I'm just gonna swish, swish. Do some hip circles. A little bit cat-cow. I was really struggling and fighting for my life in that half split. So I needed the extra help. And we're gonna switch to our left side. And again, make those nice, sweet knee circles. And you can be as intentional as you would like with these, as, get it how you want it. And when you're ready, reverse the direction, keep things even. And go ahead and stretch back into a child's pose. Make sure you're sitting your hips back onto your heels, arms stretching right out in front of you. If you want to keep it active, you can tent the fingers and sort of walk them forward if you need more stretch. You can also bring your knees closer together if that's how you would prefer your child's pose. Wider legs are going to deepen the stretch. When you're ready, walk your hands over to the right. You can stack the left hand over the right hand or keep them side by side. Walk over only as far as you can, stretch without lifting the glutes. So you want to make sure you press down through that left hip, and then walk it back to the center, and then forget to move your props. So then when you walk your hands over to that left side, you now have to move them and then stack the right hand over the left, or keep your hands side by side, pressing through the right hip. Watch me set myself up for success here. Every time. I love that for me. If you want, you can look underneath the armpit. That deepens the stretch a little bit in the upper back and shoulder area. And we're just going to walk the hands to the middle. Walk your hands in a little bit closer and do some low cat cows. Now we're just going to pop ourselves back into a down dog. Bloop. There she goes. And now we're going to shift our weight forward into a plank. And we're going to bend our knees, not let them touch the floor, get as close as we can to the floor, and push back through our hands. Push our hips back towards our feet. And then back into a plank. And we're going to go into our push-up position, chaturanga. Elbows to ribs, and then a cobra, or up dog. I'm going to lower down. I'm going to transition into broken wing. So you want to bring that left arm out in a 90-degree-ish angle. Elbow a little bit higher than the shoulder. I'm going to push into that right hand and bring the right foot behind the left leg. And you're going to roll onto that left hip, and this is going to stretch the shoulder. Of course, you can adjust the intensity of the pose either by moving your bent arm or by pushing differently into your right hand. And then we're just going to switch into the other side. Right arm at a 90-degree angle behind you. Left foot comes behind the right. We're balanced on our right hip, pushing through the left hand. You can also press the knees together and the thighs together and just keep your legs bent. That will lessen the intensity of the pose for you. We're going to go right back to our bellies and shift our hips back into a child's pose. Keeping the knees together so you can round your back. Now we're going to transition into hare pose or rabbit pose. Shift our weight to the tops of our heads, the crown, and hold on to the heels and lift the hips. It gets a nice stretch in that weird upper shoulder back area that's hard to reach sometimes. Now we're just going to roll ourselves back into our thunderbolt. arms overhead. We're going to grab the left wrist with the right hand and lean to the right side. You want to try to keep your chest facing forward and turn your head to look up under your left arm. And then we're going to go to the other side. Rinse it a little bit. Grab that right wrist with the left hand and lean to the right. Keep your chest facing forward and look up under the right arm. Right back up to center. Now we are going to come into a 90-90 or deer pose. We're going to put our right foot, our right shin parallel to the front of the mat. Left out to parallel with the long side of the mat. I just wanted to work in some mobility. So I started with lifting the front foot off of the floor as high as I can. The goal here is to stay as upright as you can. And I'm cheating by pushing into the floor. You really should just be using your leg strength. This shows the lack of mobility in my hips here. I'm trying to lift the back shin. And getting a Charlie horse in the process. Ideally, you want to do 5 of each of these. Boop. Boop. This seems like it's really simple, but it's actually a lot harder than it looks, especially if you've never done it before. Charlie horse. Charlie horse. Oh, she's dying. And now I believe we're going to switch to the little turns where you turn and rotate only as far as just until that front knee lifts. And you go as far as you can, lifting that left leg. I'm waiting out a cramp. There we go. So like I said, that's 5 each. And we still have to do the other side. Isn't that great? I'm excited about it. Now, just giving my legs a little shaky shake before I switch to the opposite side. So now I'm bringing the left shin parallel to the short edge of the mat, right shin parallel to the long edge of the mat. And again, I'm going to lift that front foot. And that's 5. Now we're lifting the back shin. Bloop. Bloop. It counts. Even those little baby lifts, they count as a lift. I did it. Now we're just turning and turning. I would say that this side definitely has more room than the other one. I did not get like the mega Charlie horse like I did on the other side. And this is why the balance is so different between the two legs. Like, that's what we're working towards. evening it up. And now we're making our way back to a nice little tabletop. And then down dog. And we're going to walk it up to a forward fold. Stretch it out, forward fold. Rise on up to a warrior two. So that's right foot back, parallel to the mat, and up. Arms out, left arm forward, right arm back. Strong bend in the knee. Flip that left palm, stretch back, and then we're going to reverse that. Reach that arm forward. Make a nice little circle. Back up into warrior two, nice and strong. And then we're going to straighten the front leg. Leave our feet where they are. Stretch that left arm back. And then we're going to tip forward like a little teapot. Bring that left arm into the front of the foot. Right arm overhead. And then back into warrior two. Okay. We're straightening out into a star. Toes pointing out, arms out. And we're going to lunge. Back into our warrior two. And we are going to cartwheel those hands down into a low lunge. We're going to walk the foot outside of the hands and come into a yogi squat. Rise up and back into our squat. And come right back up. One more time for good luck in that yogi squat. And now we stand, forward fold. Go ahead and grab the opposite elbows. Sway in a ragdoll fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to make that space. And now we're going to go ahead and just step back the left foot. Spin it so it's parallel to the short end of the mat. Come up into a nice strong warrior. Flip that right palm, stretch it back overhead. And then reverse that. Bring the right arm in front of the foot. Left arm overhead. Make a nice circle. Bring it back up. Straighten that front leg. Tip back. Right arm overhead. And reverse it. Left arm overhead. Check out the thumb. Yeah. We're going to come back up into our sturdy warrior two. Star pose, toes pointed out, arms out, taking up space. And we lunge. Lifting the toes of the extended leg will intensify the stretch, so if that's too much, you can leave it out. Back to warrior. And we're going to spin those arms down, find ourselves in a low lunge, Walk the feet out, almost like a half little lizard move here. And we're going to step up into a yogi squat. Hands to the heart. I grab the block. Always an option. Props are wonderful. Gonna bring that left arm out to the side, stretch the right arm up, and look into the right corner of the room. Bring it back to center, and do the same thing with the other side. Right arm down, left arm up, look up into that corner, and then bring it right back. Okay. Gonna find ourselves a forward fold. Roll our way back up